Many students were talking about Christmas vacation when Mary went into the classroom. Mary found Lucy at her desk. Mary smiled at her. Lucy smiled back at Mary, but she didn't look fine. Just then their teacher, Mr. Smith, came. He said, "I have sad news for you. Lucy and her family will move to London." Mary was surprised. After Mr. Smith left the classroom, Mary went to Lucy and said, "Is it true?" Lucy looked very sad. Mary said, "I'm so sad. You didn't tell me such an important thing." Lucy said, "Well," Mary couldn't stop saying, "I thought we were best friends." Tears came out of Lucy's eyes, and she walked away from Mary. Mary didn't enjoy dinner that night. After dinner, she went to her room. Mary sat on the chair and looked at a beautiful blue hat on the desk. Mary said to herself, "Was Lucy sad to hear my words?" Then her mother came into the room. "Oh, Mary, it's a very beautiful blue hat. Is it your present for Lucy?" her mother asked. "Well, yes, it was. Lucy has beautiful blue eyes, so this blue hat is wonderful for her. But Lucy will not want this now," Mary said. "What happened?" "Both of you exchange presents at Christmas every year," her mother said. Mary began to tell her about Lucy at school. After her mother listened to Mary, she said, "Well, how about going to Lucy's house with me now? You should give the present to Lucy." Lucy was not at home. Her father came to the door. Mary told him about the present and gave it to him. Lucy's father hugged Mary and said, "Thank you very much. Lucy will be very happy." The next morning, Mary saw Lucy at school. Lucy was wearing the blue hat. Lucy ran to Mary and hugged her. Lucy said, "I'm sorry, Mary. I didn't tell you about moving to London because I didn't want to lose you. But I was wrong. Can you still be my best friend after I say goodbye to you?" Mary said, "Of course. We will always be best friends. Lucy, I'm also sorry. I didn't try to understand your feelings." When Mary came home, her mother saw a big smile on her face. Mary was wearing a beautiful necklace. It was the present from her best friend Lucy.